black or white. It's not black or white. It's not black or white. It's not black or white. With Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely. Not black or white. It's not black or white. With Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely.
But I've never heard of it. So how did you find out about that?
Well, that was my friend Jen.
Oh, okay, the one that was poisoned. So she led you to hear about
She's
this.
like, you said, because I was explaining all these things that were happening to me. I'm like, again, like the Imodium just stops working at a certain point, right? It's just bad. And you can't have a life. Like, I had hired 2 people to do my job, to carry my business and keep going. And
were you like in bed all the time?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
So honestly, when you did chemo, because I'm super fascinated. So I'm super fascinated, but I was too scared. So like they had chemo class. I'm sure you had a chemo class, which, I was thinking I'm going to be sitting in there with all these other chemo people, but with just me and my husband. And I got a binder that was this thick and I opened it and I was like, mouth sores, this sore, that sore, this happens to you. And I go, nope. And I go, and I started defending myself. Like, I'm not doing this. Excuse me, I'm not doing this. There's no way in God's green earth I'm doing this. And then they're like, well, you're a gray area patient. I'm like, good. Because this gray area patient is marching on out here. And then they didn't want to like do my radiation right away. And I was willing to do that because I understood the idea that there could be some little buggers like hanging out
that they can't see.
And I'm like, just kill them. I didn't want to do it. I mean, I've had a ton of physical therapy where it actually hurts. They go into my armpits and they pull the fascia apart that has the scarring on it. Although they have told me you didn't scar like most people do. Like apparently most people's chest just gets completely scarred over. And for whatever reason, mine didn't. I say it's because I drank a smoothie. I drank this smoothie that this woman that lived across the street from my mom, she's a 7-day Adventist and they weren't allowed to do chemo and those kinds of things and she got cancer. So she made a smoothie every single day that in their community, they all know about it. It had chard, spinach, kale, flaxseed, chia seed, soursop, pineapple, guava, blueberries and raspberries, and then it's done at the base of spring water. It has to be spring water. And interestingly enough, the flaxseed in it acts like tamoxifen. Because I was like, why do I feel like tamoxifen doesn't bug me? And why? Because I've been drinking that smoothie for a year and a half. Almost. And so my body's used to something that behaves like tamoxifen, supposed to, kind of shut off it breaks the receptors on your cells so that they can't receive estrogen versus wiping you out of estrogen. But tamoxifen, flaxseed has that same sort of behavior in terms of regulating your estrogen levels and stuff. So my body's interpreting it similarly, but it's super fascinating that I had that smoothie every single day.
That's crazy. Maybe that's what it was. That's so bizarre.
I mean, I just feel, and they told me you can't take any supplements, like antioxidant supplements when you have radiation. They're like, no, none of that. But they're more than fine with an antioxidant smoothie. This is where I think medical oncology makes a mistake, or just doctors in general. They get like a week of pharmacology, so they don't know a lot about the drugs they give people. Statistically, this is a drug we give, this we plug it in, and they got their little spreadsheets. And then nutrition, they get a week of nutrition. And so I think what needs to happen, and they're doing this at UCI with and a shout out to Dr. Deng and Dr. Lavasani. You guys are the bomb. They're integrative oncology doctors. So they look at your whole body. So I was complaining about my AST, my ALT being really elevated, which means like you either have cancer in your liver, which was very scary to me because that one doctor said it's going to be in your liver. And so I was like super traumatized.
It's like,
I know, it was really bad manner. It was bad. I cried. I had to get EMDR therapy to get over her. Would be like, she'd be like, think of the doctor, and then I'd start tapping my face or tapping my shoulders. I'm like, oh yeah, her. I look like
release the demon. Jesus.
I know, it was ridiculous. It was costing me $200 every time I would see this woman. You know, she'd be like, "You're in a safe little place. Imagine yourself on a little island." I was like in a hammock with like, it was like
That's some
insane.
great
And then the one
visual therapy.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
one time,
That would work for me too.
yeah, my husband was with me and we were going to Starbucks, and he has a client. She's just absolutely lovely gal. And when I first got cancer, Frank went with me to the oncology, breast oncology center at Hoag in Irvine, and we ran into this client of his. And she's like, "Oh, hi, Frank," and she was with her mom. And then she looked and saw me, and she's like, "Oh, Frank." Like that.
Oh, shit.
Of course, nothing makes you want to cry when somebody's like, "Oh, poor you," to her, you know. And I was like, "Oh." Anyway, she was quite lovely, and Frank had told me, oh yeah, her mom had cancer. They both had breast cancer. They both were breast cancer survivors, right? So fast forward like a year and 3 months late after I had experienced that, and Frank was talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, you should really hang out to her. You should see if she wants to do sound baths with you, blah, blah, blah." And I go, "Oh, okay." And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. My husband never really suggests friends for me, but she must be really lovely. And he goes, "Well, you know, her parents are both dead now." So I'm standing in Starbucks. It's like a little Scooby-Doo moment, you know, and I'm all, both the parents. And I'm all like, what happened? Starbucks. And so Frank's all looking at me, and he's all like, "Honey, it's okay. He's all, "You EMDR?" And I go, "Yes, I am."
Sure.
So,
Hammock.
Exactly. I'm on an island.
I'm on an island. I'm in the hammock. There's cold water running down. There's a fountain. Yeah, so when we got home, he had ended up talking to her again. And she told Frank, he goes, "Yeah, my wife was a little bit like sad about your mom." And she goes, "You told her she didn't die from cancer, right?" And Frank goes, "I didn't know how she died." And she goes, "She didn't die from cancer."
One little detail.
I know. I'm like, well, that would have been an important detail for me. Yes. all the poking and slapping on my skin could have been avoided. I look like an idiot at Starbucks. Everyone's like, "What's wrong with that woman?" I'm all, oh.
They would have thought you were crazy. You're like crazy. You're like hammock, 45.
I know.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, I was really sad for her because nobody wants to lose both your parents, you know, regardless of how it happens. But, you know, it was helpful for me to know. But I thought it was so sweet of her to tell him that you did tell your wife she didn't die. Because she knew right away, because she's a cancer survivor too. Yeah. So she was like, "Oh my God, your poor wife." She went to bed thinking of it, which is exactly what I did. All day the next day, I was like tapping myself like crazy, you know, like making my smoothie, telling myself, "You're different than anyone else." You know, I always think of Dorothy. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Like I'm all like, "There's nobody like yours. There's nobody like yours." You know,
it's true.
You know, which is true. But I started to say that stuff. But I actually believe it to be true. You know, and I do think your brain has a lot to do with
100%.
how well your body receives information. I know hundreds of years from now, when we're long gone, when we're a footprint on the earth, they're going to be like, "Do you remember those people? They didn't realize how much the brain manages things."
It does.
They think they've done all these studies now where they know that the brain, they think, I just read this thing. It was really fascinating where they were talking about, it was a TED talk, and these scientists were talking about how mitochondria speaks to other mitochondria but your brain's oxygen levels are the thing that help your mitochondria speak to the other mitochondria. And they think when you get cancer, your oxygen levels, which I thought was interesting that you said that earlier, are not reaching some of the cells. And those cells that don't get reached are the ones that get quiet. They can't communicate anymore to the mitochondria that's working. And then they die off and they change and they try to save themselves. And that's when the DNA breaks in the cell and suddenly it goes rogue. It just starts replicating something that's not good for you, that turns into a tumor, you know. But I mean,
well, even your green drink that you were talking about, it sounds like it actually probably had a lot of things in it that oxygenate your blood. So even during that time period, it could just have been inner healing you.
Yep.
You know, so
yeah, my radiation doctor's like, it looks like you can tell the tissue's different, but it's so less than what they expected for how much they barbecued me. I mean, I did look like an etch sketch, let's be clear. I mean, I'm not sure what happened to you, but for me, I looked like, I was like, I'm tough. You know, I come out of radiation, I'm like, that was nothing. I felt nothing. I mean, put all this cream on. The minute I was a weirdo. I like came in with pink chaps on. I'd be like, hi guys. You know, like trying to make it.
Here for radiation.
I always wanted hardcore rap played.
Yeah.
When it was happening. So
Nice.
I was like, they were like, here comes the rap girl. You
You're
know,
like,
I was like, I need like some hard stuff in here.
That's funny.
Because I didn't want to cry. I was like,
Right.
I need to just have the hard stuff. They're like, here she
Love
comes.
that.
And they would say that, like, continue to get the best music.
Oh, that's
It was
funny.
always like
They didn't play
hardcore,
music
like-
for me. They didn't play music at mine. I'd always have to hear da-ding, da-ding,
Well, it was
da-ding.
still super loud.
You're
but
super lucky.
Like, they had the breaks.
Oh,
you know,
you're
in
lucky.
between.
They didn't play me music, but I made sure I dressed like a
Yeah.
cowboy hat on. There was
Oh my God, I love
one radiation guy, I go, I know you go home to your wife and you're like, we got this weird patient who looks like a stripper. She's coming in here with her chaps on.
That's
But I was
okay.
doing it to make myself laugh. I was
Yeah.
like, to
That's
make
what
it
is.
more fun. Like all the other radiation women would be like, what you gonna wear tomorrow? I go, I don't know, but it's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Whatever I do, I'm gonna make it. So, you know, when it was all over and they made me ring the bell, even though I didn't want to do it because I felt like that was a cheat. I was like, people ring the bell when they've done chemotherapy. I feel like I cheated by doing just right. So they're like, no, you can do it. And they were all like, we're gonna miss you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all like, well, I'm gonna miss you guys, but I will not miss
This
coming here.
procedure.
But it was like crazy. Like for 4 weeks, nothing happened to me. I was like, what is this? It does, maybe something really bad's happening inside and I can't see it. And then the 5th week, I started going, uh-oh, I look a little like red.
Yeah.
And then it
It's
looked
like
like
sunburn.
somebody drew like marks, like took a Sharpie to me. On one, it was like I was like, what? This is so weird. It looked like the scientific bottles, you know, with the neck on it, and it goes like that, like right around my boob. And I was like, what is that? And I would cry to Frank. I'd be like, what is this? It's like it got like scribbles on me. And then it was just on one side. And then all of a sudden they're like, now we're going to do this side. And then I had it on this side. And Frank is such a good husband. He's such a good guy because he would lie to me. He's like, he would lie to me.
Oh, it's okay.
No, it's
I
fine.
know. Oh my God. They really.
One day he looked at me and he says to me, you need to wear a shirt with sleeves. And I go, why? He goes, because your armpits are like solid black. Like it looked like I had rubbed black paint all over me like that.
Weird.
Yeah, it was gosh, I want to make sure I say this right. So if anyone's listening to this, it was, all I could think of is Moderna, the darn cream. It was a reaction to the radiation where your skin, your cells rush to the injured area and they darken because they're like, you're poison, you're radiating me for God's sake.
Right.
So it's like, I think it's called
like being
Derma.
burned from the
Yeah, it was,
Because you are. Yeah.
But because I drank that shake, it only took 2 weeks for it to disappear.
That's
So like
great.
every day I'd get up and I'd look at myself and I'd be like, you're still alive. Your boobs look bad.
But isn't it
you're
great,
still alive.
going back to that shake, the fact that you found that shake, somebody made it, right? Somebody introduced you to it.
Yeah, it started in the Amish community.
Right.
Believe
But they
it or
don't
not.
typically tell you those things, right?
They don't want to tell you anything that they don't get paid for. I hate to say
Right.
that. You know, now I think doctors are trying really hard, but I think hospitals are corporations and they have a bottom line. And so they're like, this is how much this costs, and medical oncologists get paid. They get paid to chemo people, and patients don't know that. And that's why that one doctor was really pissed, because she bought the chemo.
Right.
They paid for the chemo first, and then I didn't buy it. I didn't do it. So she's stuck, and she's like, it's hard to get these appointments. I'm like,
Well,
give
so
me
the
a
reason
break.
I brought this up is because she knows this story.
yeah.
So my mom had cancer. So my mom did radiation, my mom did chemo.
Okay.
But I went down this holistic rabbit hole to find.
How old were you when she?
I was almost 30 at the time. Yeah.
Okay. So you're young.
So I went down this rabbit hole to try to find any alternative medicine for her, or whatever it could be, like the shake you're talking about.
Yeah.
So out of my ex fiance at the time's friend's mom was a holistic doctor in Michigan. And she told me about this tea
right? So it was called Easiac. So Easiac is Cassie spelled backwards. So there was this old woman. They told her she was going to die of cancer. She only has 4 weeks to live. As she leaves, this Indian guy comes up to her and goes, I heard about what happened to you. I have a cure for your ailment. And he makes her this tea. Who knows what's in it? Just like the tea had all these things in it. So he started making tea for her, and she lived longer than 4 weeks. When she passed away, which was 25 years later, prior to that, she was making the tea for her friends because she was saying, hey, I don't know what's
it?
Well, I know he's making this tea for me, but it's helping, the longevity of my life. Well, then the FDA steps in, says can't practice medicine. She's like, well, I'm just making tea.
Yeah.
All right. So she willed that to somebody else when she passed away, before she passed. And then they started manufacturing this tea. So I went on the hunt for this tea.
Wow.
Went to every vitamin store and every store in Orange County. Nobody even heard of it. Everyone was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm in the city of Orange and I went to this random vitamin shop. I had stopped and go, oh, there's a vitamin shop. Let me just go check. They don't know what I'm talking about. I said, it's in a green box, I heard, because I heard this whole story. It's in a green box, has a picture of the old lady on the box. Couldn't find it. I leave, I come back in and I'm looking, just kind of around, and I see this green box at the bottom of the shelf. So I go get it, and sure enough, it's the tea. So I ship it to my mom, and then I went on a hunt to find it somewhere else. Couldn't find it anywhere. I was in Henry's, and I'm telling the story to this old lady. I said, there's this tea, her name is Renee Cassie, blah, 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 blah. It's got all these herbs in it, and supposedly there's this story attached to it. So I'm in Henry's. Oh. So I'm in Henry's, and the younger person had no idea what I was talking about, right? The older lady starts to whisper. She's like, she's like,
to you or
to me?
Okay.
I said, I was like, why are you whispering? She's like, we're not supposed to tell that story. I go, what do you mean not supposed to tell the story? Damn near cures cancer. Can't say that out loud, right? But that was my thinking, right? And I'm like, so why wouldn't you promote that it could help?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Says, okay, whatever. So I get it, no big deal. I go to Bellaterra like 4 months later. I'm in the store. Young people have no idea what I'm talking about. There's this tea, it's called Easiac, and I'm showing them the picture because now I'm like, this is what it looks like. And the guy was like, yeah, wow. And he starts whispering. I'm like, why is everybody whispering when I bring up this tea?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, technically you're not supposed to talk about it. So they've had the conversation to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it was helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the weirder part was
Right.
I was telling Tim that I went to Whole Foods and I'm asking about the tea.
Right.
And I find this woman, I said, hey, do you have this tea? It's Cassie spelled backward, blah, blah. She goes, oh, I know what tea you're talking about. And I go, oh, do you have it? No, we don't sell it anymore. And I go, why not? Because, well, some people, and she goes into the whole story that he tells me. And I'm like, why is there such this big, effort to try to stop something, to shut it down when it could really help somebody, especially for us patients that are intolerant of some of the other medicines that they offer? Why not, at least let someone try it, right? I mean, the outcome might be different on every single person, but to sit there and be like, but she did the same thing. She whispered it.
She starts they whisper.
So
You're like,
yeah, like she's
well,
not
maybe
allowed
they
to talk
were
about it.
told.
Well, they were told.
They're
That was the whole
definitely
point. They were
told.
told, do not talk about it, because what happened is people are making claims, and you can't make claims.
You can't make claims.
Right? So I said, well, okay, we'll just at least say, hey, this could be helpful. I mean, along with going back to what you guys were saying earlier, your mindset when you're ill, right? If you tell yourself, like, you're showing up like, haha, look at me, give me radiation.
Look at me and my chaps.
I'm about to live. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the same for you. It's like, if you don't put your mental state there, along with everything else that could help you, right?
100%.
Those are probably a lot of the reasons why you don't have cancer. So I read this book called The Placebo Effect, right? Which is basically mind over matter. It's like telling your brain something and your brain going, yeah, you're right. You don't have any pain. Oh, it's going away. Or most people who I know who go, oh my God, I'm sick. I don't feel good. And they go down that rabbit hole, stay sick for a longer period of time than they probably need to. Right? And it's just how whatever you choose to have your brain go in that direction, in my opinion. put that tea in my mom's will to live and her faith and all those things. When her cancer went away, they just said, "Oh, it's a miracle."
How long did she live
That's
again
crazy.
after
25 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's
My
My
like
mom
amazing.
died of a pulmonary embolism in 2020. Had nothing to do with cancer.
Nothing to do with cancer.
Mm-mm.
That's,
yeah, because you know,
Right.
of course, me.
how old
being,
was she?
She was 72.
Okay.
I was so nervous when I found out about
Yeah.
his mom. I was like, "Did your mom die from cancer?" And he's like, "No,"
Nope.
because that
Yeah.
was my go-to for everyone. Did she die from cancer? What? And not that I would be happy that anyone would pass from anything,
Yeah.
but it does give some calm to my overactive brain
Yeah.
that it wasn't that. But I was so interested in Tim's mom. Tim, can you get all the stats from your
Yeah, my sister. Actually, I
sisters?
talked to my
Yeah.
sister today. She's sending me the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my
Yeah,
mom had
that's
wrote this
amazing.
book called "Cancer Now What."
Oh, she did.
Yeah, because she was like, "Now what? Now
Oh, I
what?
like
Everything
that
you told
name.
me that was going to happen didn't happen. Now I'm cancer free,
Oh,
and they can't explain it to me, scientifically or
Interesting.
otherwise. So they just say, "Oh, it's a miracle."
So
did they
like,
have to give her a stage? Did they give her a stage or like say, "Oh, you have this"? Or
That's a good question. I'm not
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
when I asked you and you asked your sister,
Yeah.
your mom had stage 3.
Oh, okay,
She had stage 3. I think
Okay.
she had some lymph node involvement too.
gotcha.
I'm pretty sure that's what you said because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and that.
Oh yeah,
lady
because I
was
sent you a screenshot.
Yeah, you sent
of
me
all my
like a
sister's stuff.
screenshot of her doctor's her pathology report.
Right.
And I was like, oh, she had ERPR. She was like, of course, I'm like all fascinated, like looking at it. Because then I get all happy because I'm like, she lived 25 more years.
Oh yeah.
And
good.
she stopped the chemo stuff kind of
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know you didn't stop the infusions, but you stopped the chemo drugs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she
I
stopped
couldn't
it.
do it.
She
Yeah,
stopped
at one point it was just like,
Yeah.
but then she changed, like she cut out red meat and she was drinking a lot of teas and along with the Easy-Act, other
Yeah.
stuff, and just being healthy for her body.
Yeah, like I swear, like so my brother studied alkaline and
Mhm.
kind of did some things too. So I stopped drinking coffee because they're saying it's more acidic, and those that are, more sensitive to acid
Mhm.
Right. Yep.
things, that it's better to not drink that, but to drink maybe green tea instead, and it actually has a longer caffeine effect. So like I drink green tea instead,
Okay.
like I have matchas in the morning instead. But so like certain things, like from a holistic standpoint, I've
Mhm.
definitely taken certain things into consideration. Also, during my time I was blessed where we had a little backyard where I could grow things.
Ah.
And my brother was teaching my son how to grow
Oh.
things. And then I was thinking, why is he growing it? Like, how is he so good at growing things? And I realized, oh, because Shane used to grow pot. And it's
Hey.
and I'm
Once you grow
oh my
pot,
God.
you're good.
I was like, no, he had such a green thumb. I was like, wow, how did my brother get so good at this? Like, I'm so confused. It's like we've never had
Right.
we haven't had a big plot of land or anything for him to like grow anything on. And I was like, oh, now I get why he's doing this. But my son then learned how to like grow things. So they started doing the smoothie thing, but putting stuff that we grew in the garden into the smoothies.
See, I want
Nice.
to get a plant tower so I can
Yeah.
grow my own lettuce because I'm freaked out by lettuce. Like I buy my lettuce from the oncology center
Oh,
because it's not grown in petrochemicals.
yeah.
Because for years I've been eating poison,
Yeah.
and now like I get really nervous about food that comes in boxes or bags or
Yeah.
like I'm like, and I like myself some Cheetos. I do.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
I try
It's
not to eat them
therapeutic.
or Munchos. I'm like, oh, but I get punished when I eat. Not when I eat Cheetos, but if I eat Munchos, I get punished with acid reflux now.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, no Munchos for you, Diane.
No more.
No
Munchos.
more Munchos. But yeah, I was curious if you stopped it because I have. It's not my friend. It's my twin sister's friend, and she had the same cancer that would. So we had similar cancer. She had double positive. I had ERPR positive, ductal carcinoma. But we all have. To most people, it's just breast cancer. You don't realize there's like 50 million different ways that breast cancer can happen to you, and fortunately for ours, it's survivable. But what I was going to say about my sister's friend is she had this moment where she's like, I just don't eat anything that had a mother. And I thought, that is really hard to do if you want some
Yeah.
protein,
100%.
like I like a good steak, but I don't eat steak anymore because of it. Like, I did go to Steak 48 and it was delicious. It was really good.
I was vegan when I first found out I had cancer. Like, I was vegan. I was freaked, but it was more out of fear. It's not because I didn't like it, but I also had, when I was going through chemo, I explain it to women that if you've ever had a child, it's like morning sickness, vertigo, and car sickness or nausea, or like if you're on a boat, seasickness for men.
And I get all of that. I've had vertigo, I've had seasickness,
and hungover, the worst hungover ever, where you feel like you have to throw up, but you can't throw up. That's the worst kind, because you just want to throw up and get it out, right? This is, and it doesn't go one day like that. You go into 3-4 days feeling that way. So you can't sleep it off. You can't eat a pizza and it goes away. You can't, like, these are, that's the feeling that chemo gives you. And it lasted
that long?
It'll last when you give the first when it administers that first time, and you have it over, every 3 weeks, they give it to you again. So just when you're starting to feel normal and back to like, okay, I'm feeling not so sick anymore, I'm feeling kind of normal, then they hit you again with it. So like, that's the feeling you feel. So I think it also changed the chemistry of my body. Like, I became allergic to a lot more things. Like, you talk about lettuce. I can't eat lettuce now.
Oh, really?
So I'm allergic to lettuce, blueberries, blackberries. Like, there was a lot of things that now suddenly I'm allergic to that I wasn't before.
So, really? So it changed your endocrinology enough to like make you
things that you're allergic to, which they always say, like, too, when after you've had a kid, sometimes you become more allergic to certain things because of the hormone levels.
Yep. I had a bad allergic reaction after I had my son. I ate a payday candy bar.
And then I
ate salmon. I ate salmon smoked in alderwood. And the only reason I know it was smoked in alderwood is because all of a sudden my hands started itching. I was like, oh, my hands are itching. I go, Mom, I called my mom. Mom, my hands are itching so bad I can't get them to stop. She's like, put your hands in ice cubes. My hands in ice cubes. And then my toddler comes out and he's all, Mommy, owie. And he starts going like this to me. And I like go in the bathroom. I'm like, I had hives all the way on my face, all the way down my arms like this. I had hives on my behind that looked like coconuts. They were so huge. And then I started going to anaphylactic shock. I put Cole in the car and Frank's going, don't pull over. He's like behind me, pull over. I'm like,
she's like, can't breathe, can't talk.
Unfortunately, the hospital was really close. Oh my God. And I got out, and by that point, Frank's like, he left Cole in the car seat because he had to take me in because I was all, because my throat was closing up. I was gonna die. He's like, don't ever do that again. Call 911. I'm like, I'd have been dead by the time they got here. It was really bad. So I'm no longer allergic to that, but I don't ever eat those two things. They think I was allergic to them together.
Interesting.
But, So you did it every 3 weeks, the chemo. Every 3 weeks. Yeah, that's what they wanted me to do, and they wanted me to do it for 3 months.
Did you ever get tested for the BRCA?
Yeah, I don't have the BRCA gene.
Yeah.
So I don't have any one of the 15 genomes that are like precursors, like the BRCA gene. Because I never knew. I thought the BRCA gene was it. But there's like 14 or 15 other that determine whether or not you have a propensity to grow cancer. But usually when you're as old as I am, I'm not going to tell you how old that is. But when you're as old as I am and you get cancer as late as I did, it's usually not genetic. It's usually environmental, or you've done something like hormone therapy.
She definitely wants to know that.
I mean, I know there's a lot of people who really love it and believe it and promote it, and I think that is effing crazy. And the reason I think it's crazy is if you don't have a propensity to get cancer, but you'd get it from environmental things, that's just like dumping kerosene on a fire.
It's like you're tempting.
Yeah, you're tempting fate. You're like, I don't have cancer now, and then suddenly you become exposed to metals, toxins, whatever, and your cells just go haywire on you for whatever reason, and it's just like shoot. And if you aren't doing that, the benefit of not doing hormone therapy like that is that if you do get cancer, it'll grow very slowly instead of like hotcakes and get
you're just feeding
into
it.
into a bigger, problem, and stuff. I mean, I'm just waiting now for them to figure out dormant tumor cells because that's what keeps me up at night. And the clever study is figuring it out. They figured it out in Penn State. They did a study, and they took everolimus and hydroxychloroquine and gave it to people they knew had DTCs in their bone marrow. They extracted, I guess, bone marrow out of them. I don't know exactly. That sounds painful to me, but they realized in some tests, they realized these people had dormant tumor cells in their bones, and they gave them everolimus and hydroxychloroquine combined for 6 months, and it killed their dormant tumor cells.
Wow.
So they never got breast cancer in their bones.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
I think they should give all cancer survivors that, so that you don't get cancer in your bones. Because
What's the side effects of that?
Hydroxychloroquine is actually a drug that's used. They gave me that too once in my life because I had estrogen problems, and I thought I had, because when you lose your estrogen, it mimics like rheumatoid arthritis. Your hands
become
hurt.
old.
Yeah, your hands hurt. And so then they're
Overnight.
they're like, I always go like,
Right.
I'm the tin man. I need to be oiled, and that drug doesn't really do much of anything to you. Now, I'm not familiar with what everolimus does, but I guess the side effects were really marginal. Like, I think people felt tired or something. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't anything like what it's like when you're wiping out your estrogen.
Yeah.
And it killed the dormant tumor cells. Those people, I would think the results were like 96% of the people in the study got rid of their dormant tumors. They didn't have them anymore when they tested them again.
That's amazing.
And that, I think, is something that can change oncology. Is if it comes
at it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And then there's the clever study. There's another study out of Australia that they're looking at taking nanobots. And nanobots, so these nanobots, they took us, it's only been tested on mice so far. They took mice, injected them with our kind of cancer, with hormone-sensitive cancer, breast cancer. So all these mice had ER breast cancer, estrogen receptor breast cancer. And then they injected them with nanobots, and the nanobots would check the acidity of the environment.
That's crazy.
Of the rats or the mice that had breast cancer, and it went in and it killed the breast cancer. Wow. And that's huge. Like that particular study, I think that study in the nanobots, if they can get that to work in human beings, it only works in mice so far, and mice, I guess, are the closest to humans, which is weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, I didn't realize. That's why they always do studies on mice. But so and oddly enough, they do it mostly on male rat mice. So I'm like, did they put
they get
breast cancer?
too.
Yeah, breast cancer into male mice instead of female mice because they don't want to run into female mice that might be pregnant because it changes everything, right? Yeah. So I never knew that. That I learned from reading just every cancer book that exists. How not to die, how not to this, how not to that. But that study I thought was super fascinating because the nanobots, if they could do that and aided with AI, so AI detects something different, and then they figure out how acidic your composition is in your body. This is what goes to what I think about treating each patient like an individual, right? Like we're going to scan your body. Yeah. This is where medical.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
This is where medical technology is going to go. Yeah, and AI is going to help assist it. There's going to be so many more people with cancer diagnosis. I hate to disappoint the world, but because the technology is going to be able to see it before it has to wait till it's 10 billion cells. So what they'll be able to do is they'll be able to say, hey, Adina, hey, Diane, it looks like your body's going to create cancer. We're going to stop it before it creates it. You're not going to have to do chemo. You're not going to have to do radiation. And we're not going to have to stick you on a million different other drugs that's going to make your body go, what the hell are you doing to me? Yeah. Well, I think what they'll do is they'll make money there. They'll figure out a way to make that expensive. I mean, right now, only people who make good money get good health care. I mean, that's a whole nother subject, if you're poor, I have this friend and he's kind of rough. And he always says, there's no such thing as an ugly woman. There's just poor women and women that have money. And I was like, and you can apply that same sort of rough sort of comment. I know you're going to clip this, Tim.
I had a joke in my head, and I was like, don't. Just don't.
Don't clip me looking like a jerk. Sometimes I come off looking like that, but gotta watch the whole pod because there's actually more to it. But yeah, because I said something on one of the pods that sounded kind of funny. But you have to listen to the whole thing
Listen
to
to
know.
that pod.
Yeah, you have to
That one's
listen.
coming out. That's the religion pod, right?
The religion one.
That one's coming out next.
Yeah, I said the only way you get a voice in the New Testament is if you're a hooker. Because they tried to make Mary Magdalene a hooker. And just so you know, folks, I don't believe she was a hooker.
Yeah.
I believe she was married because Jesus could not walk and be a rabbi unless he was, number one, you had to be married to be a rabbi. And number two, you had to be financially funded by a very wealthy family in order to preach without having to have a job. That's just what was happening. I took theology in college, religious theology. But yeah, so at the end of the day, there's a clip out there of me saying,
It's about to drop. It's about to drop.
Yeah, it's
that
about
one's
to
gonna
drop.
raise some eyebrows. It's gonna be
But
good.
yeah, so I did want to ask you one thing. I wanted to ask you how your family acted towards you about cancer. Because for me, I was really lucky. I had a really supportive family. My mom, who isn't a crier, didn't cry at all during it, which always surprised me because I was like, I found out she was crying to her friends about me, but not to me because she didn't want me to be frightened. And my husband was really great. My son was terrified, I think. I think my teenager acted the most unusually about it. In fact, he was a little bit harsh to me. And I think it's because he was scared I was going to die. He didn't understand it. So yeah, I had some interesting situations that I never would have suspected would have happened because my son and I are really close and stuff. So, now we're back to normal where he's not. I don't think he's, they treat me like, yeah, Mom. They treat me like normal now, which I appreciate. They're not acting like we're going to be really
like
nice to you because, we're going to be really nice to you because you're only going to be here for a few days. We're on your way out. We're going to be nice, So I don't have that. But I was curious, did your family, did they help you the same way like mine or did, or were
they? Like kind of a mixed bag, honestly. So when I'm always been the caretaker and the fixer of my household. So I would say was more of like the surrogate husband to my mother growing up because my mom was a single mom.
Oh, okay.
So when this happened, it's like I wasn't allowed to be sick, if that makes sense. Like at least for my mom. So matter of fact, when I was going through my first surgery, she got to the hospital and told my husband, I can't stay, I can't be here, I gotta go. And had to leave because she said she couldn't handle it. So I was saying, of all the things I've handled for you, and you couldn't,
and she couldn't stay for you,
stay or whatever. And at the time I was kind of like, well, okay, whatever. I was like expected that she would be the one to fall apart. So I was kind of like, all right, because I've always been the one that had to be the tough one. That's like the put together one, the one that holds everybody together, the glue. So if they were seeing that come apart, I think that would have been, like it was like an undoing for her.
So I wonder if
being a victim, because that's another thing too, when you're sick, I never wanted to be a victim. I always felt that way, and so it was like, now suddenly I am sick and I do need help and I am asking for help. And that was really hard for those that you always help to actually have to help you or to see you in that place. Because you don't want to believe that, okay, this person that has always been there for me is now might not be there. So
it's interesting you say that because I think a lot of times the people that get cancer are these kinds of people that take charge usually. It's rare for me to meet somebody who's gotten cancer who's been totally taken care of. They've always been, the people that I've met are the people who've taken care of everybody else. It's really weird, and they're also generally not people who want to be like victims of anything. And I'm like, every single cancer person I know, like I have a friend down the street, she had it a year before I did, and she's a big designer person, and she's just great, and she's very much like go-getter, kind of runs her ship. She's managed to decorate every single house on this block, design everything in them, and she's just fantastic that way. And I think I've never met one cancer person that looked like, oh, they were meek. I haven't yet.
Do you think that there's a correlation between people who take on a lot of stress?
I do. I think stress,
100%
You know what I mean?
stress is the cancer killer. Like I think it's what encourages cancer. So I don't know about
100%,
you.
100%.
I changed how I think. Like sometimes, like if I know somebody's gonna like get me worked up, I go, not today. Like I'll say not today, or if I feel like, because I have people I love that can get on my last nerve, and sometimes I'm all, not today, and I just say that to myself, and I go, and then I make up stuff. I go, oh, I gotta go, somebody's calling me, because I can feel it in my own body. And I'm like, no, I cannot have poison in me, and I call poison cortisol. Like for me,
100%.
And that's why I take Tim's class. That was the whole impetus for me taking his dance class. Is one, I couldn't stop thinking about cancer, and two, I was going to sweat it out, and three, every single time I left class, and it still happens today, I'm so flippin' happy. Like
very
there's
euphoric.
There's
Absolutely.
like some euphoric feeling as I'm driving. He doesn't know. Sometimes I'm driving him to his car and I'm all, la, la, la. Oh God, I just, but it makes me, and I'm like, that is what's going to center you, and it's going to tell all those mitochondria to get together, link hands, and like keep yourself alive. Like I had a really stressful job, and I had a really bad boss, and he was yelling at me when I had cancer. Like,
lovely.
It was really awful. In fact, it was so awful, I was headed to a stress test because I had thought I had woken up at night, and I went, oh, and I told Frank, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. And I was grabbing the tumor, my cancer tumor.
God.
Didn't know that's what I was doing. I didn't even think your heart is over here. It's not over here. And I went like this. And so I went on this whole thing, seeing a cardiologist that was recommended to me, and doing the calcium test and this test and that test. And then I have a mammogram, and now I'm like, oh my God, now I have two problems. I thought I was having a heart attack and I have cancer. And so I'm on my way, and I had told my boss I was going to keep working, because I'm like, I'm going to make this work. And he was like, you can go to your doctor's appointments. Well, he didn't have any idea how many you get. How many you get.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I got like 4 just in 1 week. You're like, and then next week I got 4, and then I've got 6 more, and then I got to go to all these different places, and they're going to poke me and put metal in me. And anyway, he started to get nasty. And I remember my mom was sitting in the car, and I was driving, and the guy was just losing his lunch and his breakfast and his dinner all at once. And I'm all like, like I started, and I was driving the car, and my heart was going so fast. And I'm like, my mom never curses. My mom's all, get off the phone. Who is that asshole? Sorry, Mom, you got outed.
That's amazing, though.
She was like really mad. She's like, get off the phone. And so I got off the phone, and she's like, you call the HR department now. So I did exactly what my mom said, and I called the HR department and said, I'm taking my 3 weeks vacation, and then I'm going on leave. So I was like, goodbye. And he can't call me. And I told her exactly. My mom was sitting in there. My mom was like cheerleading behind me. So she's like, oh my God, her mother's in the background. And I'll never forget it. I failed my test and I was like, then I was crying because the guy's like, oh, something's wrong. Can't pass your stress test. I'm like sitting by the elevator. It's really late, and I'm crying. And I remember the heart guy, the heart doctor, is like, don't give her another thing to worry about, because he knew I had cancer and I needed to be cleared. So he goes, Diane, you take tomorrow off. He was like really gone.
Yeah.
Dr. Benvenente. He's a really nice guy. Aww. He's a super nice guy. He goes, you come back, you rest tonight and tomorrow. You come back on Wednesday and I'll put you in again. Well, of course, I was like Superwoman on Wednesday. I was running. And I had this really nice guy who stuck me. It was like a ride at Disneyland. Stuck me in this chair that spun me up like this. And then the thing went around me, and we talked about turning 50 and being older. And he told me how he's like, I remember thinking, I'm in this stupid chair. I got cancer. Who knows what's wrong with my heart? And this guy is like, he's all like, yeah, my nephew wants me to go out and party with them. And, and I was so relieved. He called me and told me that he wasn't going to go. And I thought, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to sit at home and watch Netflix with a bowl of popcorn. I come in this chair and I'm thinking, sounds so good to me, but you didn't realize how much your life changes, where I'd have been as a younger person. I'm like, yeah, let's go out, but at the end of the day, it was like a weird thing to have, this whole thing, this whole like heart thing, and there was nothing wrong with my heart. I had cancer, wow. And so then but I had to pass that test for my surgery. I started to freak out, and nobody was like calling me back. And I'm like, you have to call me back. My surgery's in 2 days. And if you don't clear me, they're not going to cut that cancer out of me. So I was flipping out, but I'm still here. I'm not flipping out.
You are still here. So in closing, kind of, sort of, what would you tell both of you, a young woman, or any woman, not even young, who gets newly diagnosed?
Oh, I'm gonna see. I know exactly what I would say.
Well, actually, recently had to do that.
Okay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I have a new friend, and we met through our dogs, and she's a great gal. She rescued a dog that unfortunately someone left in a apartment complex for 5 days straight with no food and water. And just left the dog. So I know, and so she rescued the dog, and so we talked, because I have a new puppy. So, but anyway, she's a new friend, and we get to talking when we're walking the dogs and stuff. And she recently just opened up and said, hey, so I'm getting a biopsy tomorrow. And I was like, oh, and she's like, I know you went through it. And that's why I want to kind of ask you, what your experience. I'm like, well, you're getting a biopsy, so I was kind of talking to her about it, but, they caught it really soon. So that's great. So it's very small right now. And they're saying that her percentage is like 10% of whatever it is. It's not cancer right now, but it can turn to cancer.
So is it a precancerous?
It's a tumor, but it's benign. But the strain that it is could lead to cancer in the future if they don't remove it.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah. So
is it a breast cancer tumor?
Yes.
Oh, so okay.
So she was basically told, we can surgically remove it, or we can watch it every 6 months.
So I'd be like, cut it out.
So of
course,
I think that's my first reaction all the time. Get rid of it. Cut the cancer out. I mean, that would be my first reaction. And that's what I had said to her. I said, if that surgeon gives you any sort of, hey, I could do that, take A. Take door A.
You don't want to like monitor and hope that it like turns into cancer someday. So like, if I had to tell somebody what the thing across the board of all the things that I've learned, because I feel like I went to cancer school for like a year and a half, and what I learned is early detection matters more than any single other thing. If you feel off, you feel weird, go get. But I also
get a mammogram before 40.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. When I was in the oncology part, where all the cancer people were, not the radiation. Radiation seems like a different sort of deal. Like everyone's all happy because they're not being chemoed, but the chemo place is a little bit different. When I was in there, I thought, it's so important for early detection, but also it's the age of the people. The age freaked me out. When I would ask people how old they were, it was from 22 to 80. And there were tons of 20-year-olds
really?
And stuff. Yeah, I think it's wrong that they don't give you mammograms. earlier than 30 because of all the women that I met. I met a woman in radiation. She'd had cancer 3 times, and that woman was 40 years old. So you figure she's been there 3 times.
So caught it. Earlier.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She'd been there 3 times. She had the BRCA though. So when you have the BRCA, if you have the BRCA gene, your body does not see cancer the same way that a person without that mutation has. But it was really interesting because she had cancer when she was in her 20s. Every decade she got cancer again. Every decade.
That's crazy.
And they were
BRCA's gnarly.
It was gnarly. They were burning her through her collarbone because she had a little bit of breast tissue up here, and so of course it found a way.
It's so gnarly that Jewish women are taking their eggs and trying to spin out the ones that have the BRCA gene. So when they have children, they can actually get rid of the BRCA, the ones that have BRCA.
Oh my gosh!
So
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could spin that out.
Just went through that.
They can spin that out.
They can take they can save the ones that don't have that.
Have that BRCA mutation.
Yeah, and it's usually 50%.
Oh.
Usually 50%.
Wow.
So 50% chance.
There's a sniglet for you folks.
And my mom is Jewish, and from we're Lithuanian Jews on my mom's side. So they tested me for the BRCA. I didn't have it, but all the signs were like, this could definitely be BRCA because
you were young,
and I was younger.
You were younger.
Yeah, but I still think a mammogram. They say that they don't do the mammograms younger because it costs more money.
Yep, they don't want to pay.
They don't want they want to hit it like when you get it. They don't want to hit it when you're not getting it or close to maybe getting it. Or
they put women's lives at risk. That's what makes me mad. Same with the OncoDX score. It's $5,400. They didn't. That was another thing. They didn't want to run my onco again for me.
Yeah.
They hate me because I'd be like, I want you to run my onco again. And then I call Exact Science. They're like, oh, Diane Blakely's calling again. We know who that is. I'm like, that's my tumor. They didn't want me to prove that there was any faultiness with their tests. Like if you don't have hormone therapy users, and let me tell you, I was not the only hormone therapy user going through this. Think about how many people are doing it.
Ticket right now.
Yeah,
a lot of women love.
Oh, they love that
treatment.
Oh yeah, because it makes you feel invincible. You're no longer crickety or anything like that. But you run the risk of what happened to me. I mean,
definitely.
I have a twin sister. She didn't get cancer. She didn't do hormone therapy. And guess what? She was going to a week before they announced that I had breast cancer. And then she's like, okay, that's a big hard no. Yeah. She doesn't have it.
Wow.
So anyway, we digress. But yeah, early detection.
Early detection.
And
men can get it too.
Yeah.
So they should also be checking that.
They should be checking that. There's also these whole body. If you can't get it from your provider, or it's going to cost you something crazy, they have mobile HerScan and they have mobile units that will do 3D scans, breast cancer, breast mammogram scans for you. So if somebody gives you pushback and you want to make sure you're okay, they do whole body scans. There's a place called Visome, and it does whole body scans, so they can tell and this lady, let's see, Helen West.
Well, you probably want to know how much it costs.
A thing called Ascended Wellness, and they do whole body. They take 2 minutes and they do whole body scans. I don't know how much it is, but
how much is it?
Yeah,
because affordable healthcare would be a whole other situation.
It would be a good thing, right?
I think everyone should have education and everyone should have healthcare.
Right.
Oh, I do too.
We had a
whole thing where I went off. I'm like, and that's why I vote for Tom Steyer, because he believes in single payer. But no, I think. Imagine what kind of world we would have here in the United States if you were guaranteed health care. You could have the job you wanted, right? You wouldn't be worried and panicked working in a place that causes you undue amounts of stress that gives you cancer, because you could be like, sayonara, I'm not going to do this job. I'm going to get another job. Yeah. And your health care isn't attached to it, because I think that's why a lot of people, myself included, take the job, stay in the job, because they're like, oh, I just need this job because if I have a health crisis, I mean, I don't know about you, but my bills were almost $1 million.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, my husband luckily is a teacher, so we have good insurance, but I owned my own company, and in owning my own company at the time, I had deals where I had partners, and when they found out I was sick, honey, they were like, we're canceling that contract, or we're not working with this company because we know she's going down with the ship. So I actually had, when I went in for my double mastectomy, I had a business partner that did the whole, like, I'm so sorry, Dan, this is happening. I had one of my wives, he had a collection of wives. I had one of my wives have this and die like this. And he tells me this, and I'm like, well, I'm only stage 3. I was like very defensive. I was like, well, I can still do my job, even though I hired 2 people to do my job, so, but anyway, and I still could do it, by the way, because I was wearing some really awesome wigs. And I figured it out. I had to because I had
great hair. I know that would have been really like awful to have your hair come out.
Had red hair. I had a red wig. I was Natasha. I was Bambi. I was anything your heart desires, honey. I was working it. But this guy, knowing that I was going in for that bigger surgery, he waited, and luckily I had like a weird feeling. I get premonitions, and I had this weird feeling that something was going on behind my back, and I had one of my friends shop him. Like just shop the business in general. And so when he sent this mass email out to all of my clients that I brought him saying, we're no longer doing business this way. If you want an event at our property, you have to contact us directly. Here is my information. And if you have an event with us, you need to contact us right away because your event is no longer considered contracted.
Right.
Really?
And so my friend happened to have gotten that email because she shopped it when she called there and said, hey, I want to do an event, to see if he was still referring it to our company. So what ended up happening was he did that on the day that I basically was going into surgery. So when I got out of surgery and got rolled into the, recovery, I wake up and my 2 assistants are sitting on the couch next to me. When I woke up, they're like, Adina, we know you just got out of surgery, but you really need to see this. And they're with their laptops, and they turn and they're showing us email. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And so that sometimes is what happens too when you own your own business. Like, you have clients, or you have people that are like, oh, she's going to get sick. She can't do my wedding in a year. She's going to be dead.
That's what Courtney Benson
and they'll walk right over your dead body.
I know. People will do that.
And there's some that are amazing, right? That are complete, saints and angels. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm so glad those people are in my life. And that's who I worked for. And that's who, I continue to work for. And you also kind of have a different perspective after going through certain things, and you're like, okay, maybe not as superficial anymore, maybe not as into what might have been cool then is not as cool now.
You know what's cool? Being alive.
Yes, yes. Because when you're in the hospital bed, you're hooked up to all these things, and you're going, I just want to live.
Right.
You're not thinking about what's my next purse going to be, or what's my next car I'm going to drive, or you're thinking I want to hold my husband's hand longer. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to see, the future. And there's so many cool new drugs that are coming out now. I think medicine is we're on that cusp. You see even hospitals right now. I don't know if you guys have been into City of Hope in Irvine, but it looks like a hotel. I joked around a lot because I had to visit a friend, unfortunately, that was there. But I was like, "Where's the casino? Where's the slot
Are you talking about their breast oncology center?
No,
Which one are you talking about?
They have a new hospital.
Yeah, they're attached to their emergency center.
It looks like a gorgeous hotel.
Yeah,
like a high rise. And she, unfortunately, she's going through her own stuff, but and she's having to get blood infusions 2 times a week. Really brutal. But the rooms are like hotel rooms. They're like suites and hotel rooms. And she actually had her birthday there. They knew all about her birthday because she's kind of like you, just very boisterous and fun and good energy. And she's from Texas. She's from the South. Everybody loved oh, she's so awesome. And she's telling them all her recipes that she's going to make, So they just love her and remember her, but, I think we're right there. We're you can reach out and touch it. Even some of the drugs that are coming out right now too, that are for that were pre-diabetic and diabetic. So I was also pre-diabetic because of all the things that were going on. My body couldn't process sugar.
Was that after the chemo?
It was after the chemo.
Gee whiz,
so
it gave you a bunch of things.
So so my body couldn't process sugar. So I was on a pre-diabetic medication until I started reading the label a little closer. Like, oh, it can cause, you're like to have to amputate your arms or legs. And I was like, wow, I haven't really seen that one with chemo, but this drug is like, so I kind of was like, how do I get out of this one? So that was kind of when, the Ozempics were coming out and the Zepbounds and the other stuff. So I was like, I'm not doing this anymore, but maybe I can talk to them about doing this. So I do microdose Zepbound. And that kind of keeps your sugar levels down and it lowers your inflammation. Inflammation is another thing
that gives you cancer.
So if you can lower
is Zepbound a weight loss?
It's a trizepatide, but it also has like the 3 receptors versus the one that Ozempic has. And
so is it a weight loss drug?
It's also a weight loss drug. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I should try that and keep my fat down.
But that's
because I'm worried about getting more fat on me because then I could get more breast cancer.
So I microdose it. And it's helped a lot. Because
do you cut it in half? How do you microdose something?
Like you basically, whatever your dose is, you're taking the only amount, like the least amount, the least possible. Yeah. So
maybe I should do that. I'm just worried that because I've filled in any spot where they cut the cancer out, it all filled back in. I'm all great, got some more fat there. But it scares me, But I try not to think about that much, but I'll talk to you after this about microdosing something like that.
Yeah. Just speaking of things to do, to keep things going.
Oh, can you also, before we close out, say the name of your holistic doctor so people can hear about the person?
Well, it's Tustin Longevity Center.
Oh, so it's all there.
It's all there.
Okay.
Tustin Longevity Center, And then, my oncologist is really great. It's Dr. Lee and Dr. Nagasawa. His name is all over Mission Hospital. He retired, but being Japanese, he really took in a lot of the holistic approach too. And I remember him always saying, you want eggs, chicken, and greens. He was always like protein, but the greens were really important. And
so you know what I do if I eat I say if I'm going to eat something bad like a piece of cheese, I have to eat it with a piece of celery. Celery regulates your gut bacteria. If you get acid reflux, it also stops that too. So people are popping Pepsid and Tums and all that. Just grab yourself a stock of
good advice. I like that.
Celery and chew on it. That's what I do. Because dumb drug that I was taking, the anastrozole, was giving me acid reflux super bad.
And the celery was working?
Yep. And I just run downstairs. Where's the celery?
That's awesome.
And then I eat the celery and go to sleep.
Well, celery is high in alkaline too.
Oh.
And so is watercress. Watercress is supposed to be 33.
Getting some celery.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Greens. It helps my little neighbor down the street. She's 85, and she's like, I have acid reflux. It feels like I'm burping at night,
Burping. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Growing up, burping.
Coin that one. Coin that phrase. Well, thank you for coming out
of course,
and hanging out with us and talking on some awesome.
Thanks. I was so happy because I knew you had some nuggets that people could learn from because, Eileen left. Everybody knows that. But this is...
She threw it in here. I threw
it in. Eileen left. But I also lean towards people. I care about human beings. And I think it's better when people share their experiences so that they can help somebody else, because you don't know. Somebody might be clicking around one day and then they'll find out. I mean, my God, we've learned something new just sitting here talking to you, and I'm going to be making an appointment to get some of those free radicals out of my body.
Yes.
But we really appreciate you doing it. Yeah, I know.
My pleasure.
You probably were like, oh gosh, what are they going to ask me? But yeah.
I was just hoping you didn't ask me to see anything underneath my clothes.
No, because that would probably put me in a position to share, and I'm like, not gonna happen. This is not an OnlyFans. This is not an OnlyFans podcast.
This is an OF, people. This is a podcast.
Yes,
the podcast is called It's Not Black or White. We'd like to thank our audience for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Tim Stevenson, and my co-host is
Diane Blakely.
And thank you for Adina Ray for being with us. We will see you on the next pod.
We'll see you then.
It's not black or white. 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 With Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely. Not black or white. It's not black or white with Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely.